So guys, today I'm here with Olivier Roland. Oliver, hi Oliver, how are you doing, sir?
I'm very fine.
Oliver is actually is actually traveling, and he's gonna tell you why he travels so much. And I had the opportunity to meet Oliver, I think 3 years ago, right?
Yes, 3 years ago.
And Oliver was, when he said that he was in Brazil, I just invited him for a coffee because he's one of the most extraordinary bloggers that I know today, and I thought that he could take some time to share his story with you guys. I thought it would be really helpful. So Oliver, first of all, thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Would you tell a little bit about yourself? How did you actually I just told them that you are a blogger. You're a professional blogger.
Absolutely.
And in some minutes we're going to share some numbers what Oliver actually does today, and it's pretty incredible. But I would like you to tell us, how did you actually start it before you were a blogger? Did you start it one day and you just was a blogger, became a blogger? How did you start it, your journey?
Well, first I created my first company at 19. I dropped school
19?
Yeah, 19. It was an IT company, so basically it was about, repairing computer, installing network, stuff like that.
Yes.
And it was great for me. I mean, wow, I dropped school at 18, started my own company.
Did you actually finish high school, or you just dropped it?
No, I dropped it.
You dropped high school? Huh?
Yeah, because I was so bored, in school. And
I get it, yeah.
I wanted to do something passionate that would be a passion for me. So yeah, I created this company, and it was an awesome adventure for someone so young, and I really enjoyed it. But after a few years, it became to be less of a dream and more like a golden prison,
Like you were prisoner of your own company.
Yeah, because basically I worked too much. I didn't have a good balance between my professional life and my personal life.
Yes.
So at the beginning it was not a problem because I was so passionate, I was so happy to have built this company, to have created my own job. But after a while it became to be like a burden, So I began to look for a solution to do other things, and it took a while. I think I began to look for other solutions after 5 years, and it took me 2 years more. Before.
So basically, from the time to say, no, this is not working for me. What did you want out of it? So you want, I still wanted to be an entrepreneur, but you didn't want to be a prisoner or a slave, and then you start to look at the internet for solutions of how to be an entrepreneur without having to.
Exactly, because I worked like 60 or 70 hours a week, which is really too much.
Yes. And then how did you find a solution? How did you come about?
Well, first I stumbled upon a big blog, a big English blog, which is the blog of Steve Pavlina. It's a big blog about personal development.
www. Would you say the URL? Do you remember?
StevePavlina.com. I don't remember if there is.
Yeah. So if you want to Google StevePavlina.com, yes.
Yeah. So it's
a self-help. I actually stumbled across that blog as well.
Yeah, he's a very famous blogger in US.
And pretty crazy as well, actually.
Pretty crazy. When I discovered it, he was a little less crazy than now. But
yes,
anyway, he really wrote a lot of great articles, and that's why he's famous. So I stumbled upon his blog like in the end of 2007.
Yes.
And I read a few articles and I said, wow, it's really great. And it changed my perception of blogging, because before this blog, I thought that a blog was kind of a personal, journal on internet, a personal and public journal on internet. So I didn't know really that a blog could be like a magazine or like something to share really interesting thought and concept from a writer,
So for you, blogs were just like a way of, sharing some feelings and stuff, but you didn't know that you could use a blog as a medium to share content.
Exactly. I didn't understand it was a medium of communication, like any TV, magazines, books, and it is. So first, it changed my mindset about blogs, and then I read an article from Steve Pavlina, which the title was "How to Make Money with Blogging." And I said, "Oh, it's interesting."
Interesting, right?
Huh? So I read the article, and he said, "Hey, now I'm earning like $50,000 a month, and it's only from affiliate income. I didn't know what affiliate income was before, so it's
got it.
Yeah.
So he come and say, hey, I earn $50,000 a month with affiliate income.
50,000,
right? Didn't you say, dude, this guy is lying to me. He can't be making that much money. Did you actually that thought pass through your mind, or you actually come and believe that he was actually doing that?
I don't remember having duped about it because I think I trust him because of his awesome articles, you know.
Yes, he established authority. Yeah,
he established authority. You could see that his blog was a really well-known blog, that he had a lot of comments and readers. So yeah, I thought, oh wow, it really impressed me.
Yes.
$50,000 a month first.
Yes.
And he said, and it was not the end of the story, because he said, hey, because it's only affiliate commission, I don't have to create a product, to do market survey, I don't have to do customer support, I don't have anything to do. Basically, I just have to write a few articles a month, and I can do anything else I want.
Sounds like a dream, huh?
So yeah.
Let me just make a pause. Like affiliate commission is when you sell a product that's not yours, so a product from someone else, and you earn a commission on it. So if you're not used to the term, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
So you said, great,
yeah.
Bloody hell, I want that.
And it happens that I still love now to write.
Yes.
I love to read, I love to write. I even write a short story that was published. So I thought, oh wow, I can, in that much money while writing, was doing something I'm really passionate about it, and not work too much, have a balance in my life. And I thought, wow, it is what I want to do, it's great.
Yes.
So I started like 2 weeks after my first blog.
2 weeks later you start.
Yeah, I was so passionate. I was like, oh, okay, I have to do it. So I started my first blog 2 weeks after, and it was a total failure.
And you were like,
total.
You knew how to deal with computers, and you had a background, so you could put up a website really quickly. Right?
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yes.
The technical side was not the problem.
Yes.
The big problem was I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, but not technically speaking, but marketingly speaking, you know, I didn't know how to promote the blog. I didn't know what
to bring visitors.
Yeah, to bring visitors. I didn't know what kind of topics was interesting for my readers.
Would you be able to tell what was your first blog name?
Yeah, it's Techno Smart. First, the name was total mess. It didn't mean anything. It was, I don't know how I came with this name, but it was first mistake. The name was not good. Techno Smart. So, and the subject of the blog was basically IT tools, software tools, and hardware tools. The subject was good tools for smart people, something like that. Okay. Because it was my skill. I was good at IT, computers, and everything. So I started from my skill, which is not bad. But yeah, all the rest was a failure. So the title was wrong, and after 6 months of hard work, I earned like 16 euros.
16 euros
16
after
euros.
6 months. 6 months of hard work.
6 months of hard work. So it was not exactly the $50,000 of a month of Steve Favila.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, perhaps I'm doing something wrong, you know.
Okay.
But yeah,
what happened then? Did you say, hey, I'm going to stop this, I'll go back to my IT company, or you actually say, I'm going to figure out this?
Well, I thought, okay, perhaps this blog will not work for me, but I read like 2 weeks before deciding to stop the blog, a book that totally changed my life.
Okay, so you have a failure as a blogger.
Yeah.
So far, so good. 6 months writing stuff, earning nothing but 16 euros, and you read the book. What was the book?
The book was a 4-hour workbook by Timothy Ferriss.
And I tell you, this book also changed my life. And I did a live event last September, and it's just like everyone that signed up for that event, I gave that book to them because it changed my life as well. Maybe I will share a little bit about that. But how come that book changed your life?
Well, I read it, and it was the big slap in the face I took from a book ever. I mean, it was wow! Because
and by the way, this book in Portuguese is Trabalhe 4 horas por semana, do Tim Ferriss.
Yeah. So it basically revolutionized completely how I saw entrepreneurship and having a business. And it really struck me because I was an entrepreneur since 8 years, and I read this book, and suddenly my point of view about entrepreneurship and owning a company totally changed. So wow, I was, my God. So first, the book comforted me in the decision that going on internet was a good thing because it's easier to automate the company and having a good balance in your lifestyle. And then I thought, okay, if one book can change totally the way I see something I do since 8 years,
Yes.
perhaps there are other books that can do the same too.
Yes. So you get this book and it changes your way of thinking. It's actually this book invites you of the good things about the internet. I started to be an entrepreneur online. I was a property investor. I still am a property investor, but started to go online just because of this book as well. And I failed miserably in my first website as well. But then after this idea, hey, if this book changed my life, the direction of my life positively, there must be other books that changed, and then so you got to this assumption.
Yeah,
and then
I have these assumptions. Perhaps there are other books, so I have to find other books. I didn't read any business book before. I
Yes.
was passionate about reading, but it was mostly fiction books.
Okay.
So I start with the book that Timothy Ferris recommended at the end of his book, right?
Yes.
So I read another book.
That's when what year?
It was in the beginning of 2008.
2008. Okay.
Around April. And I read another book called The Hemis by Michael Gerber.
Okay.
And I read this book and it's another huge slap in my face.
You're gonna get a lot of face.
Oh,
slaps here.
my face was all red, it was
Yeah.
incredible. So basically this book just explained the problem I had with my first company. But just plain. And it's not only that it explains the problem, it told also me a lot, almost all entrepreneurs have the same problem as you. And
Yes.
basically the problem is I created a job instead of creating a business.
It happens a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah.
You want to have this dream of being an entrepreneur, then you create another job, which is worse than a proper job either. And how this idea of life-changing books make you a successful blogger?
Okay.
How did it actually?
So after this second book, two slapped in my face in less than 1 month, and I thought, okay, I have to find a list of really good books. So I began to search on the internet, and I stumbled upon a list of great books called The Personal MBA.
The personalmba.com, or if you Google personal
Yeah,
MBA.
Personal MBA, you'll find it easily. So it is a list of the best business books in the world in 24 categories, ranging from personal productivity, psychology, communication, marketing, everything you can think about. And I saw this list and said, wow, it's great. Okay, I just booked the 3 first books that he recommended. I find it's great, it's a really great book.
Yes.
So I was telling myself, okay, I have to read as much as book of this list as I can. But how can I do that? Because I know that often when I'm doing something, a big project, I'm really passionate and I have a lot of energy at the beginning, but after a while, I begin to be a little, more bored. I begin to procrastinate.
So
I wanted to have something that motivates me.
Okay.
And I wanted to create a business on internet also. So I began to think and I said, okay, why not create a blog about great books that can change your life?
So you create a blog about great books?
Exactly. And I had the challenge at the beginning. I said, so my first article was, hey, I just created this blog and what I want to do is read 52 books in 52 weeks and write a summary of each of the book each week.
Yes.
And it's a challenge that started my
How
blog.
did you read 52 books in 52 weeks? Did you have extra time, like throwing your hands?
I just decided to do it.
Okay, so you just decided to do it and you just did it.
Yeah. Well, at the end, I didn't read the 52 books.
So you put this blog up, you start writing articles of these 52 books, and you become filthy rich about it. Is that
I become what?
a lot rich? How did actually the thing? What the connection I want to make for my readers is how a guy with an idea of writing something on the internet actually making money on it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But how did you? So you start this blog, and then what happened?
So it began slowly, but more faster than the other blog I created because it was my third blog. And after a while, I put, since the beginning, I put affiliate links for Amazon.
So people read the book, read the article,
the summary, and if they wanted to buy the book, they click on the link from Amazon, and if they buy the book, I get a commission. But it was so much,
How much did you make a month?
After 1 year, it was around between 200 to 300 euros a month.
Dude, not much, right? So you
Not
have
much.
1 year writing all the stuff from this bloody blog about reading 52 books a year, and you're still
It's a
earning
lot of work.
2 months. Okay, so and keep going so that because I want to see the
I have to
breakthrough
know-
because I know how much money you make today.
Okay, but first I have to nuance. It's a lot of work, but it was part-time for me, only 10 hours a week, something like that, because I had my first company at the beginning.
Yes, sure.
It was great with the blog, you can begin part-time. It's
Yes,
great.
yes.
All right, so after 1 year, I had a good blog, about 500 visitors a day, not bad, not huge but not bad, and I was thinking, how can I monetize it really effectively? Because with advertising and affiliate, it's not going to do a lot of money. So I stumbled upon this marketing consultant guy, which I happened to meet 1 year ago, and we began to talk about it. And he said,
guy is Sebastian, right?
Sebastian, the French marketer.
The French marketer.
Yeah.
I knew Sebastian before that actually. But yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Because he actually ended up doing some consultancy for me as well at the time when I was launching my thing. But I'll tell the story later. Yeah. Keep going. And then you met Sebastian. You knew Sebastian was a guy that. What?
I knew Sebastian since 1 year, but we didn't exchange a lot. I knew that he was a good entrepreneur, and we began to talk about my blog. And he told me, "Hey, I did some launches in my own market. It worked well. Now I'm a product launch manager, means that I know how to do product launches for customers."
Let me just interrupt you here. There's a good sequence, a campaign which was created by a guy called Jeff Walker, and it's called the Product Launch Formula. And this is one of the most incredible sequences that produces results on the internet to this date. And Sebastian was an expert in launching, according to this method, I suppose, and he was about to manage launches for. He was proposing that he could manage a launch for you, right?
Yeah.
Which means that he could. What is it? What did he do? He actually write the launch. He created the launch for you.
So first, he gave me the idea of creating a product.
Yeah,
which was great because
so you created your own product first, okay?
Yeah. So and I didn't have any mailing list at this time, okay?
Yes, you didn't have a list. You just had a blog, right?
I had a platform, but not a source of traffic, but not a list.
So he introduced the concept of building a list
and
product. Okay.
So he told me, we did a survey together, asking my readers, "Hey, you are a reader of my blog. That's great, thank you. How can I help you even more?" And we ask these magical questions, that is, what is your biggest frustration?
Okay, so he comes to you and he asks, this is actually part of the formula, says know your audience. Yeah. So you start building a list, like how did you build a list? You put a form there, say, hey, sign up for my newsletter. I
put a form as well, an article on my blog.
Yes.
And I ask my readers to just, answer some questions.
Answer some questions. And one of the questions is, how can I help you more?
Yeah, basically. So the answer were, hey, I really want to create a company, because my blog attracted a lot of people that were business related and wanted to create their company. I want to create my own company, but it's too hard. I procrastinate every day. Every day I say to myself, how tomorrow I will begin. And after I say, okay, tomorrow I'll begin.
So basically they want to create a company, but they are procrastinating, or how we call it in Brazil, postergando, right? Postergando, taking action. And they say, I want help. How can I create my company without stop procrastinating, right?
Yes.
And then?
And so I thought, okay, great. I'm an entrepreneur since 8 years. I read 9 years. I really read like a lot of books about for personal development, how to overcome procrastination. I can help this guy.
Yes.
So I created a product for them to help them.
A product, an info product.
Yeah.
It's like a course.
It's like a course.
In video.
No, it was only MP3 at this time.
Okay, good.
MP3.
And then you use the product launch formula to launch it.
Yeah, and we did so first I built the list by just giving them a MP3 coaching session to help them overcome procrastination and create their company. It was free. They just had to put their email address, and I built a list of around 300 people.
So 300 people.
It's not much.
It's not much. No, you build a list of 300 people. You gave them an MP3 on a coaching session.
Yeah.
On that topic, and then
we did the launch, an internal launch, and it was only a really simple launch with only emails, no fancy videos, nothing, only emails. Yeah. And
how much money did you make at that launch?
The revenue of my blog went from 300 euros to 3,000 euros in a few days.
With that 300 people. How about that? So you see, there is a big breakthrough here.
Yeah.
This guy is has a big journey, And the one thing I want to recognize, you never gave up. You know, a lot of people that do the first blog and they make nothing, they say, this thing doesn't work, and then we didn't get it. So didn't give up. When you're not looking, you're not actually getting the results you wanted, you actually start looking for the person that was getting the results. And then you end up hiring him as your consultant. At the time he was paid on profit or whatever it is. I don't know, did you pay him? He got paid?
I paid him a small fee up front, but his main revenue was commission.
That's right. And then you end up pushing that single action, end up pushing the revenue of that blog, which is books that change your life, I suppose, from euros a month to
3,000.
3,000 euros a month. Okay, now
real full-time income.
Now I'm talking about this interesting, right? So the combination of a blog plus the formula actually. Okay, so what's next? And that was just 300 people, right?
Yeah, it was awesome. So
how did you actually end up scaling?
Blown away.
I suppose you were more than when you read the 4-hour work week. Right?
Really? So it's true, it's possible. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So it was a good test.
A good test, yeah.
So Sebastian and I decided to do a big public launch because it was only an internal launch on a small list.
Yes, there are two types of launches. Internal launch when you do it just for your people, yes. And there is a type of what is called the JV launch where you actually do it where you had other people, give the other people the possibility to promote that launch for a commission. Okay, so you decided to do a JV launch.
Yes, so 3 months later we do a big public launch with the affiliates.
Do you remember the date of this launch?
The date?
Yes.
It was around the end of February 2010. Yeah, so...
Yes. I tell you what, because when he was managing that launch for you, I was doing my first launch ever.
Yeah, I remember.
And I actually, we talked I talked a lot with Sebastian at that time, and I was doing my first launch for proleilões.com, which is one of my websites. And on that launch, in 7 days, we broke the 6-figure revenue in US dollars, 3 days. So, and as much as Sebastian was happy with your results, how much money did you actually end up selling on that launch?
So it was a 6-figure, so around
more than
100,000 euros.
Something,
yeah.
Euros.
Yeah, euros.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
which is much more than dollars.
So
right?
basically, the revenue of the blog went from 3,000 euros to 14,000 euros.
Okay,
like
so
that.
Took you how many years to get to the 200?
So $200
a month. It took you. It's a big journey, right?
It depends if you take into account the first blog on the first successful blog.
Let's take into account how much time does it take actually when you're trying to figure out your stuff.
Well, it took 2 years.
2 years to get to 200. Then how long from 200 to 3,000?
A few months.
A few months, because you actually find the technique, and then from 3,000 to 14,000.
3 months.
3 months later. So now you're with 14,000
Oh yeah.
euros a month. Now we're talking business.
Yeah,
now?
It's a real business income.
Okay, it's real business income for a blogger. How many employees you have back then?
0.
0 employees. So, and 0 employees, everything is on the internet. This starts to become really interesting. And what is next? So how did you take it to the next level?
So, well, it was an awesome result. But when I started to look at the other professional blogger on the French market, because I was thinking, okay, if I did that so easily, kind of, I'm sure there are a lot of other people that did it, right? And it was not the case at all. I mean, almost all the professional bloggers were working like crazy. They didn't sell any product. All their revenue came from advertising and affiliate commission, and they had huge traffic.
Yes.
And a lot of other bloggers wanted to do the same, but they struggled and they worked like crazy and didn't succeed. So I was thinking, wow, I think this method is not known now on the French market. I have to teach it. So I had this idea of starting a blog about blogging.
So how to make money on blogging, or how to blog and don't make money? No. How to actually your method of the things. How did you wanted to, and then you create an info product, which is called today
Blogger Pro, which means professional pro blogger.
Yes, it's a problem. Is a product in French, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then what is the price point of the product
it's
today?
2,000 euros.
So if someone wants to take this course, costs 2,000 euros. So it's not cheap.
No.
Not cheap. And why are you able to charge? Because You know, a lot of people say, I just can sell products for cheap. People don't have money and stuff. But
You know, I had this mindset before, but
I get this all the time.
yeah, it's a false belief. I mean, of course, there is some. I mean, if you for some product, it depends. The price can be important or not. But basically, I was a proof that what I teach is working.
Okay, so we have a proven formula that
really
produces
important.
results.
Yeah,
because all people sometimes they compare. Oh, there's nothing on the market that's expensive. But what is on the market? It's not working. You know, and you have something that really works, and I suppose you put a guarantee on that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, that's also really important. So interesting. Now, if I'm looking at it and trying to deconstruct what you did, I see two important elements. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? So I'm just trying to make sure we summarize from what I understand. There is the blogging part. We bring visitors. Which there is the list building part, which transforms those visitors in subscribers, in prospects or leads.
Yeah.
And there is a conversion technique where in your case you use the launchy formula, right?
Exactly.
Launch, right? Okay. So there are three elements here. You can have a lot of visitors on a blog and no money, and you can have just a very great technique and no blog, right? So
sure.
I understand. When I started, I didn't have a blog. No, I didn't start with a blog. I started with paid advertising. So why? And then I get to know you. We are in a mastermind together. So the mastermind is a group where we actually help each other because we have different people with different backgrounds and different expertise. And why would you say that someone must start? And I started blogging because of you. But why would you say someone must blog right now?
Okay, so
I mean, when I say right now, they should start a blog today.
Exactly, you should start a blog today. So here is why. But first, you have to understand that blogging is a more slow process than paid traffic, because advertising is simple. You put money and you have leads, and if you have a funnel that is converting, you make sales and you make money. Right? It's kind of easy when you know how to do it. Blogging is a more slow process because at the beginning you are working and you don't get any results. Okay.
Yeah. I think I like to compare with a barbecue, and you put coal on it.
Yeah.
It's like paid advertising is when you're putting alcohol in it and you're lighting the barbecue. Right? It's like alcohol. It burns really quick and instant result, and you get it. But ideally, you want to light that thing and start putting coal on it.
Yeah.
And coaling is the blogging. The blogging the coal will take time to warm. But later when it's warm, you can leave it there for a while, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to give some maintenance as well. It doesn't live there forever. But
The big point about blogging is after a while, if you reach what I call in French le seuil des clés du succès, which means the point where you reach a critical mass of success, it's just begin to expand exponentially. And what is great is after a while, you don't have to work so much on it. It begins to work for you, and it's what is really important. Now I have my 3 main blogs bring around 140,000 visitors a month, and I don't write a lot on them. You know, I just spend a few hours a month on them, and they bring a lot of traffic, a lot of prospects automatically, and it's totally free.
And that's true, guys. One thing that I wanted to say is that I had the opportunity to go to Paris last year, and I ended up meeting the top guys in the French area of digital marketing, and I went to also visit a guy called Sebastian, and he actually was very good at live events. I wanted to learn about live events with him before I did my live event, and I actually stumbled with this guy, and actually had the opportunity to see you and you were like traveling. You know, the last 2 years you were telling me that you spent how many years of the last 2 years in France?
Almost. In France?
Yeah.
Only 1 year.
Only 1 year. So 50% of his time, the last 2 years, you've been traveling, right? Like he's doing right now in Brazil. And I invited him to come here to my place to drink a coffee with us. So he actually takes the 4-hour work week concept of the 4-hour work week really serious.
Yes, exactly.
So the blogging is key for you to achieve that, because you start slow, but it's something that you have to put in place so that you work less and less to get new visitors into your website.
Yeah.
And okay, now I want to pick your brain on something, right? So what are the 3 steps that people should be doing right now? The first step, I can tell you, have a blog, right? And at the end of this video, maybe below or something, there's a link. You can, from this video right now, you can set up a blog today, and I call it, for a lot of people have difficulties on setting up and contracting hosting and having a blog that works with the thing that works. And I created a product called ClickSite, and there's a link below this video that you could actually click on it, and you actually can set a blog today. And I tell you, not set any blog, set a blog with all the characteristics that work. Because I took a website before, I took my blog and I removed everything you don't need, and I put just what you need. So a ClickSite is a blog that you can set up today. It's a blog that has everything that you need and nothing that you don't need, so you don't lose time. So that's one action you can take. If you don't want to have that far enough, just hire a designer that can copy what ClickSite is, so that you can have a blog that with all the ingredients. But once they have a blog up, what are the 3 key things that they need to do?
Alright, first thing is the minimum requirement is to write 1 article a week.
So you do the best to write one. If they can't write 1 article a week, should they not blog?
I think so. You have to have a certain frequency, especially at the beginning, because it's slow to have momentum. But you should at least write 1 article a week. If you can 2 or 3 or even 1 a day, it's even better. But 1 a week is the absolute minimum you have to publish. Okay. But so, an article can also be a video or a podcast. You have to publish 1 piece of content every week. Yeah, it's really important. So first that. Second, you have to first, before even creating the blog, you have to do like a bit of a market study, because not every field has the same monetizing potential. Okay. It's like when you create a company, right? Yeah. You don't create a company just because, oh yes, perhaps it's a good idea. Perhaps it's a good idea, perhaps it's not. You have to do some studies to be sure of that. So for example, go to the Google AdWords keyword tools to see the traffic of the main keyword of your market, to see if there is an interest or not. First thing, you go to see if there is forum about the subject you think about, and if there is forum, as a forum really have a lot of people on it, a lot of conversation. If yes, it means that you have a lot of people that are passionate about the subject, which is always a good thing for a market, right? A good question to ask you is, are the people passionate about this subject willing to spend a lot of money each year in this market? Because of course, I love to give example, like I'm doing flight lessons.
Flight lessons.
Yeah.
So you're learning to fly a plane.
I learn how to fly a plane. So it's not a lot of people, but these people are willing to spend a lot of money each year for that. And if you sell a product, a book or a course on how to to be a better flight pilot, perhaps they are more willing to spend 1,000 euros for your course than, for example, someone would do a hobby where he spends only 50 euros a year, right?
Yeah.
So it's an important thing to consider. Something like that, it's just, it's common sense, right?
It's common sense to increase your potential, your potential for success.
So ask you the question, does this field, does this idea have the potential to be monetized? Is there a potential to sell a product on it, and will people buy it? Okay. And third thing is, you have to be consistent. And you will have periods when you will feel discouraged, when you will feel you don't get any result, and it's totally fine. At the beginning you will work a lot and you will not get any result. Only your mom will visit your blog, and it's totally okay, because everyone started the same way. Okay, even the biggest blogger in the world, at the beginning, only their mom went into their blog.
But what is the secret? Because imagine they are blogging right there, they are not getting results. What is the secret? Because people don't get results, they throw the towel.
Yeah.
How do you actually manage to believe that this is still working? Just believe that, just have to believe on it?
Well, first there is consistency, but sometimes you have to to drop a blog to start a new one, because consistency is not It's not mandatory to be on the blog you started first. Perhaps the idea you got for the first blog is not good, like it was for me. So it's hard. Okay, it's hard.
How do you know that? Because how do you know when to drop a project? You
don't know for sure. Okay. So my advice is, if you can, start 2 or 3 blogs at the same time. It's not easy. Okay, if you can start 2 blogs at the same time, for example, and after 3 to 6 months, you just focus on the blog that have the most success. Okay. And you drop the other one. But after so.
It's a bit of an art thing.
Yeah, I've seen. I have some kind of milestone. If after 6 months a blog doesn't make like 200 visitors a day, I ask question: do I continue or not?
Okay, right. This is great.
And 500 after 1 year. But sometimes it can be lower than that, and you still can have success. So there is not like exact formula for it.
This is a bearing point. It's a point of reference. If after 6 months,
200 a day.
200 a day. It's an indication that things might not be going.
But it depends. You can have a smaller market, but a more hungry market. So I try to give you general indication. But the best is to start 2 or 3 blogs at the same time. It's a lot of work. You still have to write 1 article a week for each blog. But after 3 or 6 months, you have point of comparison, which is great. Because you are less blind, you know. And if you drop a blog, please don't delete it. Just let it live its life on internet, because perhaps after you will come back to this blog and will not have to start again from scratch. I had my second blog. I just let him for 1 year without doing anything. And then I continued it, and now he's making like 60,000 visitors a month.
I see.
Okay, so you can totally take a blog that you abandoned and decide to have a success with it, and you can. Okay, so
that's one thing.
Consistency is really important.
So consistency is important.
Consistency.
What else?
You have to promote your blog. You can't just write articles and wait for the world to come to it. It's too slow. It will not work. You have to promote your blog. So first, go to blogs that are bigger than you and start to make comments under the articles. And when I mean comments, I don't mean like comments like, "Hey, it's a great article, thank you." No, it's totally bad. Everybody does it. You will not stand from the crowd if you do it. You want to really read the article and write comments that add values.
Okay, that's really good. Now, how much actually, like you develop this business right now, how much money you're making right now on average per month?
32,000 euros a month.
32,000 euros a month, which is
36, sorry.
Don't you think that you got lucky?
No.
I mean,
I got lucky.
Some people come and say, great, you got lucky. Would you say you got lucky? That you hit the right blog, and so why not?
Okay, so I got lucky in a way, but first I think luck is a skill. Okay, and to be lucky, it's kind of a process. Okay, there is some hazard in it, it's true, but it's a process also, because first I set for myself a goal. Right, a goal which was I want to have an internet company, and I want this company to be based on blogs. Okay, so when I set this goal, I began my brain began to be in search mode for every opportunities.
So we were looking for something that would fulfill that goal.
Exactly, for every opportunity that would advance me towards this goal. Right.
Yeah.
So it changed everything when you do that. So it's the first part of luck. It's when you see an opportunity that is passing next you take it, right? If you don't do it, you will not have luck. It's impossible. So first, it's the first part of luck, and then I think I knew what I want. I was consistent about it, and I transformed these opportunities into real results.
Yes.
And it's what is luck actually. It's such take opportunities and transform it into results. It's the definition of luck, right? And you can't have luck if you don't know what you want, because you have a lot of opportunities that are flying around you every day, but you don't see them because you're not focusing on one thing,
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you get into, and this is actually, I tend to ask this in my interviews, And it's a good question, and I tend to ask in different ways. So here's my way to ask you that in this interview right now. If you could actually time travel back to 2008,
Yeah.
and you would time travel like back in the future, back to the future, that film, and you could actually tell you something.
Yes.
In 2008, what would you do?
I would
just when you started, what would you actually tell yourself?
Okay.
So you come to the future and say, hey, me is Oliver. I'm Oliver from the future, and I need you to listen really carefully. And you have like 10 minutes or 5 minutes to tell you something.
It's easy actually, really easy.
What
I
would
will tell myself, hey Olivier from the past, listen to me. You have to create a mailing list from the beginning, because it's what is really important for you to sell products and to make money on the internet. Blog is great for authority, for social proof, and for building a list of prospects. So I told you I waited like 1 year and 3 months before creating my first mailing list, and I think I lost like perhaps 2,000 or 3,000 prospects that will never heard of me again, I think. And it was one of the biggest mistakes I did at the beginning. It was focusing too much on RSS readers and not on email subscribers. So it's really important when you start a blog to straight put a form, an opt-in form on it. It's really, really important.
Okay, great. Oliver, thank you very much. Can you tell the addresses of your main blogs right now?
It's in French, man.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay, it's des livres pour changer de vie.
.fr.
.fr.
Okay, and this is the life books that changed my life.
Exactly.
What else?
Blogger-pro.com.
That's the pro blogger one that teaches blogging. Any other blogs?
Yeah, there is this third blog that I abandoned for 1 year and now is making like 60,000 visitors a month. It's habitude-zen.fr.
And this is about?
It's about meditation, relaxation, having a happy life, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
great. And the one thing I would like to leave you from these interviews is you now have a possibility of doing something with what you learn here, or doing nothing. And I really invite you to do something. And I really invite you to, and there is always the temptation to actually do something tomorrow, because now is never the time. And for one thing that I'm getting from, I happen to have a lot of students now, and I have an overview, and I happen to have a lot of students that are actually having a lot of success. And the pattern that I'm seeing is that they are watching this and actually doing one action. And if you don't have a blog, is your action right now is to create a blog, be it with a click site or be it without a click site. Like whatever it is, just do an action right now, because that action is what it can be. I believe that will be the catalyst for your success. So because we're here we're giving a lot of information, but I was having, we just did an interview for a webinar for my insiders, and you did told us something really interesting, like information without action is just
masturbation for your brain.
Masturbation for your brain. And I'm committed for your success, but I need you to take one action. So watch this interview how much as you want, and choose yourself one action and do it today before midnight. And it's not tomorrow, it's not the other day, today, right? Because it's today that it's when you take one action is that you create a different future. Guys, thank you very much. Oliver, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Erico.
Bye-bye.
Bye.